Hello and welcome. You're watching Good Morning India. I'm Gargi Rawat. Stay with us for all the news you need to start your day with. Lots coming up. Also, some unfortunate news. Uzbekistan has claimed children's deaths there is linked to an India-made cough syrup.
That's right, Gargi. I'm Divya Wadhwa and you're watching NDTV 24/7. A very good morning. Also, the Serum Institute of India has offered free vaccines to the government to be used as booster doses. This amongst a shortage that's being reported. But first, the headlines.
Uzbekistan's Ministry of Health has claimed that at least 18 children have died after allegedly consuming an India-manufactured syrup made by a Noida-based company, according to sources India to probe this pharma company.
After reports of shortage of vaccine booster doses at government hospitals, the Serum Institute of India is offering free vaccine doses to the government worth 410 crore rupees.
At least 8 people are killed in a stampede at a TDP's roadshow. The stampede took place during Chandrababu Naidu's roadshow.
BJP MP Pragya Thakur has been named in a police case for allegedly making a provocative speech in Karnataka's Shivamoga, where she hit out against love jihad and asked Hindus to keep knives.
A shocking case of caste horror from a village in Tamil Nadu. District authorities investigate human feces put deliberately in drinking water of the scheduled caste there.
And former Maharashtra Minister Anil Deshmukh has been released from jail after spending 4 months. He leaves jail in a grand procession atop a car. A hero's welcome for the leader after the court refuses to defer the bail, which was challenged by the CBI.
Our top story now, and the Serum Institute of India has offered 2 crore doses of Covishield vaccine to the central government free of cost amid a rise in COVID cases in some countries. That's what official sources have said.
Right, Gargi, according to an official source, the Serum Institute has written to the Health Ministry offering the doses worth 410 crore rupees free of cost and asked how the delivery can be made. This is amongst that a spike of COVID cases that is being reported in China. The government has sounded an alert and asked states and union territories to prepare for any sort of eventuality.
In fact, yesterday NDTV had reported how no government facility in the national capital had any free of cost COVID vaccines.
While paid vaccines, Gargi, for all private facilities, which is available at 386 rupees, continues to be available over the next few days, though not in significant numbers. This when the government has been telling people to take that booster shot as cases have been rising in China and elsewhere in the world.
In fact, 39 people arriving in India from abroad have tested positive for COVID at airports across the country over the last 2 days, according to sources. Well, let's go across to Vedant now for more on this story. And Vedant, you know, there has been alarm in India, and there's also talk of possibly in the next month or two we're going to see a spike in cases, and for that booster doses is something that the government is pushing, but as we reported yesterday, the free booster doses weren't available in many of the government facilities, and now you have the Serum Institute also offering a free of cost vaccine doses.
Well, absolutely, Gargi. In fact, the Union Health Ministry has said that, categorically that the next 1 month is going to be extremely crucial as far as India's COVID response is concerned. Now, remember, as per analysis from the Covin app, there has been a major surge in registration for precaution doses, but these are majorly paid precaution doses because, as you were rightly mentioning, free of cost precaution doses, booster doses, are not available at either central government's vaccination centers or the state government's vaccination centers here in the national capital. In fact, in some parts of Delhi, neither free vaccines nor paid vaccines are available. So this move by the Serum Institute comes right after that. Remember, there has been an almost 14 times surge in the registration for precaution doses, and government vaccination centers, as per our report, finding it difficult to in fact cater to this surge in registrations for precaution doses. In fact, we reported from various central government and state government vaccination centers, and all of them said this, that they're finding it difficult to cater to this surge because of the shortage of free precaution doses. In fact, Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal had assured the national capital that they have enough stock of booster doses. However, when we went to these vaccination centers, it proved the contrary. So this move by the Serum Institute comes right after, in fact, a report that central and state government vaccination centers are running out of free of cost precaution doses. Meanwhile, at international airports, of course, 2% random sampling, random testing continues. In fact, RT-PCR tests have been made mandatory for passengers coming from various countries. In fact, the Air Suvidha form has also been mandatory now. So India really stepping up its COVID response. In fact, today, Union Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia was also scheduled to go to the international airport. However, we're being told that stands cancelled for today. Gargi.
Right, this comes at a time when 39 cases, like Gargi was mentioning, have been reported at the international airport of incoming passengers over the last 2 days. So, that meeting, of course, Mansukh Mandavia, the health minister, held those mock drills, Gargi,
right.
across the country in private as well as government hospitals today. Like he was supposed to take stock of the situation as far as the airport is concerned, but like Vedant, they're reporting that could actually be rescheduled. Thank you so much, Vedant, for joining us with all those details. Moving on, 8 people, one of them a woman, have died in a stampede situation in Nellore district of Andhra Pradesh during a roadshow by the state's former Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu.
Right, very, very unfortunate that you can see those visuals. Mr. Naidu, who's now leader of the opposition in the State Assembly, was expected to address a meeting at Kandukur town, and the rush started as his convoy was passing the area. There was a huge crowd which had gathered and pressed forward for a glimpse of the leader, and that's when many fell into a drainage canal. This after a cement railing there broke and other people were injured. Let's go across to Uma for more. Uma, very, very unfortunate, incident taking place, and such a huge mob and people falling into a canal is what it seems, and 8 people dying.
Yes, indeed. This is part of the political kind of meetings and roadshows that Mr. Chandrababu Naidu, the Telugu Desam leader and opposition leader in Andhra Pradesh, has been conducting across Andhra Pradesh. Quite a few crowds, I must say, everywhere that he has been gathering. And yesterday, as you mentioned, in Kandukur in Nellore district, there was to be this public meeting, and it was around 8:30 in the evening when big crowds and in fact gathered near the venue, and they were presumably proceeding towards the venue where atop a vehicle is where Chandrababu Naidu was to address a gathering, and that's when this kind of a cement embankment of an open drain there gave way, and at least 8 to 10 people fell into it, and 8 of them died. 10 of them are in hospital. Chandrababu Naidu was still on the public address system when he heard about the accident, and he said that he would wait till he knows about what exactly had happened, because initially the report was that some child had fallen into it. But when he realized that this is such a huge tragedy, he announced that he would be paying 10 lakh rupees as compensation to the families of each of the dead, that the children of those people would be taken care of, their education would be paid for by the NTR Memorial Trust, and he also announced that those injured will be, their treatment would be carried out for as long as it is required by the Telugu Desam, and that the Telugu Desam activists would be around for the last rites of the dead. This obviously is happened during a political meeting, which I did speak to the police there, and they told us that yes, permissions had been granted for the meeting to take place per se, but campaign managers of the YSR Congress are pointing out 2 to 3 different things, saying that one, that the meeting was organized in a very narrow space in order to try and show that the numbers are big, because as you know, all these meetings are put on social media, and subsequently the kind of crowds that gathers becomes a point of debate and discussion, and therefore they say that narrow lane was chosen and big numbers customers were allowed to come in, and they also alleged that several flexis were put up which were not otherwise permitted in that area, and they said that it is the flexis that people were standing by and didn't realize that the ditch behind, and that's how big numbers gathered, and they must have their weight must have fallen on the flexis, after which they fell into the ditch itself. All this is happening at a time when, in fact, not just Mr. Chandrababu Naidu, his son Lokesh also has announced, in fact, a huge Padayatra across Andhra Pradesh. As you know, Assembly and Lok Sabha elections are due in 2024, and it's towards that Lokesh also was to go on a 400-day Padayatra. Padayatras being one of the favorite ways, perhaps, to reach out to people and to be able to make those electoral returns as well. But as of now, 10 people in hospital, and the Chief Minister was in Delhi when this accident took place. He had met the Prime Minister and is in fact meant to meet the Union Home Minister at 10 p.m. last night. Back to you.
All right, Uma, thanks so much for joining us with those details. Now, the other big story we're tracking today, Uzbekistan's Ministry of Health has said at least 18 children have died there after consuming a syrup manufactured by Indian drug maker Marion Biotech Private Limited.
The ministry has said 18 of the 21 children who took the Doc-1 Max syrup while suffering from an acute respiratory disease died after consuming it. It is marketed on the company's website as a treatment for cold and flu symptoms, Gargi.
That's right. Now, the Uzbek fatalities follow similar ones in Gambia, where the deaths of at least 70 children were blamed on cough and cold syrups that were made by a New Delhi-based Maiden Pharmaceuticals Limited.
Both India's government and the company have denied the medicines were at fault.
Well, let's now go across to Vedant for more. And Vedant, if we take a look, firstly, we'll ask you about whether the company has responded and what is happening about a probe into the company. But also, if we take a look at the statement first that was released by the Uzbek Health Ministry, it said that this particular syrup, that it had a certain, toxin in it, but also that it was not given to the children based on a doctor's prescription, and it may have been overconsumed also by the children.
That's right, Gargi. That's very important. The statement clearly mentions that there are two sort of pitfalls as far as this is concerned. One is, of course, the fact that there was excessive dose given to these children. And remember, 18 out of the 21 children who consumed this particular syrup died. And the statement says that the syrup would have been consumed based on suggestions and recommendations of local pharmacies and not based on a medical prescription. So that's an important caveat. While it alleges that 18 out of those 21 children who consumed this syrup died because of the presence of a toxic ethylene glycol, the same toxic toxin that was in fact present and linked to the Gambian deaths as well. So that particular toxin was present allegedly by the Uzbekistan Health Ministry, but it also mentions that the syrup was given in a higher dose, and at the same time, remember, the dominant the dominant chemical as far as the syrup is concerned is paracetamol, and it was used wrongly as an anti-cold drug. So those caveats are something that we find in the statement by the Uzbekistan Health Ministry. Now, as far as the probe is concerned, the latest that we're getting from sources is that the Central Drugs Standard Control Authority has reached out to the Uttar Pradesh Drugs Licensing and Controlling Authority, because this is a Noida-based firm, so it comes under the Uttar Pradesh Drugs Licensing Authority. And the latest that we're getting from sources is that the Uttar Pradesh Drugs Licensing Authority has already formed an investigating team to assist the central authority in the probe. So now we are being told that a joint inquiry will be launched on this Noida-based Marion Biotech, and it is likely that today itself the facility of this particular Noida-based manufacturing company will be probed, and it's going to be a joint inquiry. And we are, we have been confirmed by sources in the Uttar Pradesh Drugs Licensing Authority that an investigating team has already been found. We are told that the Central Drugs Licensing Authority reached out to the Uttar Pradesh Authority yesterday via email, immediately after it was alerted, with this press release, with the statement of the Uzbekistan Health Ministry. And after it reached out to the Uttar Pradesh Drugs Licensing Authority, they formed an investigating team now. Now, as far as the Union Health Ministry is concerned, we reached out to to them for an official response, for an official statement. However, there was no immediate response to the press release. However, they confirmed that a probe will now be launched. As far as the company is concerned, we've reached out to the company via email. We've also contacted the top executives of the company. However, there was no response to the queries posed by NDTV to them. However, it's also important to constantly mention the fact that the press release by the Uzbekistan Health Ministry says that the syrup was consumed in a higher dose and without a medical prescription based on recommendations made by local pharmacies. Gargi.
Vedant, so a joint inquiry is to be conducted by the central and state drugs regulatory teams. But, this is quite a setback when it comes to the image of India, because after Gambia, this is the second incident that's coming to light as far as medicines that are being exported out of India. So a thorough check has to be put into place as far as the export of medicines is concerned.
Well, absolutely, Divya, but remember, the Union Health Ministry, in fact, had written to WHO as far as the Gambian deaths were concerned that, the link was established in a premature way, and without a probe actually being concluded, the Gambian deaths were linked to the Indian cough syrup. So as of now, we cannot say whether, it is confirmed that that toxic ethylene glycol was present in this particular cough syrup as well. However, of course, larger questions on drugs licensing and drug control in India, of course, are now emerging, and they've been, in focus ever since the Gambian deaths came to light. So that is something, of course, that those questions are emerging. However, it's important to, mention that as of now, a link between the deaths in Uzbekistan and this cough syrup manufactured in Noida has not been established, and it may well be the case that because of these medicines given without, a proper prescription, the deaths would have occurred. However, also, the key question right now is whether the presence of that toxic chemical was there in these cough syrups, and that is something, as per sources, that is going to be the central point of the probe as well. So the probe, of course, is going to be seeing whether this particular chemical was present in the cough syrup or not. So there will be a thorough check on the laboratory, on the facility of this particular Noida-based manufacturing company, and this probe, we are being told by sources, will start today itself.
Right. Thank you so much, Vedant, for getting us all those details.
In other news, an FIR was registered against BJP Lok Sabha MP Pragya Thakur. This in connection with her alleged hate speech that was made in Karnataka's Shivamoga district, the police has said.
Thakur had stoked controversy when she said that Hindus have the right to respond to those who attack them, and called on the community for at least keeping sharp knives in their homes. This was in regard to love jihad. We have Shrija joining us on the phone line. Shrija, an FIR has been registered after Congress leaders' complaint.
Well, that is exactly 3 days after where this particular incident took place, where the Bhopal BJP MP, she went on to make this inflammatory statement. This is at the annual function of the Hindu Jagrana Vedike in Shivamoga district of Karnataka. This happened on Sunday, but right after that, we had seen especially, several online complaints were also registered. They were sent to Shivamoga police, but however, the Shivamoga police refused to register an FIR. Now, as far as the SP of Shivamoga is concerned, he continued to maintain, saying that we will require someone in person to register a complaint. But that, however, raises several questions, because in the past, we have also seen how, especially Shivamoga SP or Shivamoga police for that matter, because Shivamoga is a very communally sensitive district, and we have seen in the past how the police have gone ahead and also registered a suo motu, taken a suo motu action. But only in this particular case, we had seen how the police refused to, in fact, take up a suo motu. Instead, waited for someone in person to register or lodge a complaint with the Kote police station. Now, yesterday, we understand it was the Congress district president, Mr. Sundaresh in Shivamoga. He went and lodged a complaint against Pragya Thakur. And the Kote police also, who registered the complaint, invoked the sections as far as 153A is concerned, promoting enmity between different groups, 153B and 268 for public nuisance, and also, more importantly, 504 for intentional insult with intent to provoke breach of peace, amongst the other IPC sections as well. Now, the FIR also states how Pragya asked people to retaliate against those who indulged in love jihad, and Pragya also asked people, those in who were actually in the audience in Shimoga, to keep their weapons sharp at home, and if not available, sharpen knives used for cutting vegetables. So this had really, invoked sharp response from across all the quarters. But however, nearly 3 days later, we see this FIR has been registered against Pragya Thakur.
All right. Thanks so much, Shrija, for joining us. With those details, so case finally filed there. Remember, this had led to a lot of outrage ever since this statement was made and it came to light. It's been shared on social media as well. Let's just listen into what Pragya Thakur had said.
लव जिहाद करने वालों को लव जिहाद जैसा उत्तर दो, अपनी लड़कियों को सुरक्षित रखो, अपनी लड़कियों को संस्कारित करो, अपने घर में हथियार रखो, कुछ नहीं तो सब्जी काटने वाला चाकू जरा तेज रखो। जब हमारा सब्जी अच्छे से कटेगी तो निश्चित रूप से दुश्मनों के मुंह भी और सिर भी अच्छे से कटेंगे।
All right, so that was that statement, and finally a case has been filed against Pragya Thakur. With that, time for us to slip into a short break.
On the other side, we'll get you former Maharashtra Home Minister Anil Deshmukh, who is finally out of jail after 14 months. That and a whole lot more. Stay with us. Welcome back. Now, former Maharashtra Home Minister Anil Deshmukh was on Wednesday released from Mumbai's Arthur jail after the Bombay High Court refused to stay his bail in a corruption case on Tuesday.
And the Nationalist Congress party leader released finally after all the necessary formalities were complete. A special court on Wednesday had issued the release order, which was taken to the jail by his lawyers.
The leader had spent 14 months in jail and got quite a hero's welcome on his way out. The NCP leader was first arrested in November in 2021 by the ED in a money-related case.
मेरे ऊपर जो इल्जाम लगाया गया है, मुझे फंसाने के लिए ये इल्जाम लगाया गया है। भारत के माननीय उद्योगपति माननीय मुकेश अंबानी साहब के घर के सामने जो जिलेटिन या जो बॉम्ब रखा गया था, वो केस में सचिन वजह के ऊपर राष्ट्रद्रोह का गंभीर ऐसा आरोप या गुनाह उसके ऊपर दाखिल है। ऐसे क्रिमिनल रिकॉर्ड के आदमी ने मेरे ऊपर आरोप किया, वो आरोप के लिए मुझे 14 महीने जेल में रहना पड़ा करके हाईकोर्ट ने बोला है कि ऐसे क्रिमिनल बैकग्राउंड वाले आदमी के ऊपर उसने जो बयान दिया है सचिन वजह ने, वो बयान के ऊपर विश्वास करना मुश्किल है।
And now, as Congress marked its 137th foundation day, and this is 137 years since its formation, and preparing for that mega 2024 general elections, NDTV spoke exclusively to Congress leader P. Chidambaram.
In fact, he made a candid admission in this exclusive interview to NDTV. Chidambaram admits that Congress preparedness is not up to the mark in most states compared to the BJP.
The Congress's poll preparedness is certainly not up to the mark and certainly not up to the speed of the BJP, except in a few states. And the word except is important. I think our poll preparedness is extremely good in Kerala, now in Karnataka. It was in Himachal Pradesh. I think it's good in Rajasthan. And I think Madhya Pradesh is coming up to speed. Chhattisgarh is also very good. In other states, I concede that the poll preparedness is not up to mark.
Well, with that, time for us to slip into a short break.
On the other side, we'll get you an update on the Prime Minister's mother who was admitted to hospital on Tuesday night. That and a whole lot more. Stay with us.
Welcome back. The Election Commission has initiated the delimitation of assembly and parliamentary constituencies in Assam. They will use the 2001 census figures for the readjustment of the seats.
The exercise will be electorally crucial in the run-up to the 2024, and the opposition is questioning the exercise at the very onset. Our colleague Ratnadeep Chaudhary gets us the details.
The redrawing of parliamentary and assembly constituencies in one of India's most politically volatile state, Assam, has begun. But lawmakers from minority communities are wary, claiming this is an attempt to change their constituencies and polarize people.
If they are not increase the numbers of the constituency, then ultimately it will be a feudal exercise of the government. Constituency should be increased. BJP want to take it as a politicize this issue, because they try to make minority less the minority constituencies and to increase the majority constituencies, and by these issues they want to polarize among the majority peoples.
The opposition is further questioning the base year of the census being used for delimitation. Between 2001 and 2011 census, Assam has recorded highest increase of Muslim population, from 30.9% to 34.2% of state's population.
फंडामेंटल इशू से हटाने के लिए सरकार ने ये डिलिमिटेशन घोषणा किया चुनाव आयोग के जरिए, और ये डिलिमिटेशन क्या आधार पर होगा? सुन रहा हूं 2001 के आधार सेंसस के आधार पर होगा। 2011 का सेंसस हो गया, अगर होना है तो 2011 का सेंसस के आधार पर होना चाहिए, और 2025 तक सारा देश में भी डिलिमिटेशन होने वाला है। अगर होना ही है एक साथ होना चाहिए था।
The ruling BJP has rubbished these concerns. The last nationwide delimitation commission was set up in the country in 2002.
ৰাইজে সেইবোৰ কথা মেণ্ডেট দিয়া নহয়, ৰাইজে সেইবোৰ কথা লৈ কোনো ধৰণৰ লক্ষ্য নকৰে। ৰাইজে এটাই লক্ষ্য যে তেওঁলোকে ডেভেলপমেণ্টৰ পক্ষত আছে, আৰু ডেভেলপমেণ্ট চাই ভাৰতীয় জনতা পাৰ্টি মিত্ৰজোঁটৰ পক্ষত আছে। আৰু 2024 চনৰ নিৰ্বাচনত যি 12খন আসন আছে, 14খন আসন আছে, 14খনৰ 12খন আসন আজিৰ ডেটত আমাৰ নিশ্চিত। ইয়াত কোনো ধৰণৰ বেলেগ কথা নাই যে ডিলিমিটেশ্যন যেহেতু পৰ্যায়টো ইতিমধ্যে আগবাঢ়িছিল আগতে।
According to government records, Assam has over 30% Bengali Muslim voters, often branded as illegal immigrants. And in its 126 assembly seats, Bengali Muslims decide fate in over 30 constituencies and in 6 out of 14 Lok Sabha seats in Assam. In 2021, when BJP retained power in Assam, the party had promised to protect the political rights of the indigenous people by delimitation. With last Tuesday's notification, Election Commission is all set to redrawing borders of all the 126 assembly seats and 14 parliamentary constituencies, set the modalities and discuss with political parties. With Sanjay Chakravarti in Guwahati, Ratnadeep Chaudhary for NDTV.
Switching tracks, in a significant political development in poll-bound Tripura, where elections are less than 2 months away, one more BJP MLA, Deba Chandra, has tendered his resignation to Secretary of Tripura Legislative Assembly. He is likely to join the Congress, according to sources.
That's right. Until now, 5 BJP and 3 IPFT MLAs have resigned. In total, 8 ruling government MLAs have resigned in Tripura and joined opposition parties. In 2018 assembly polls, when the BJP came to power with ally IPFT, BJP won 36 and IPFT 8 in the 60-member assembly. Congress leader and former MLA Ashish Kumar Saha and other leaders accompanied him during the submission of his resignation letter. In other news now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi was in Ahmedabad yesterday to meet his mother, Hiraben Modi, who has been hospitalized.
The Prime Minister's mother was hospitalized after her health deteriorated. Hiraben Modi, who turns 99 in the month of June this year, has been admitted to a hospital in Ahmedabad. This comes a day after Prime Minister Modi's brother, Prahlad Modi's car met with an accident near Mysuru in Karnataka.
Prahlad was accompanied by his son and daughter-in-law and grandson when that accident took place. News now from UP, and a day after a setback from the Allahabad High Court regarding the OBC quota and local bodies, UP's Yogi government has set up a commission now.
The court had quashed the rapid OBC survey done in 2017 and said the local body polls cannot go ahead with the OBC quota basis. That survey the commission set up in Andhra Pradesh's government. This is the first step towards quota for OBCs in urban bodies. In other news, a shocking case of caste horror from a village in Tamil Nadu where the district authorities who went in to investigate human feces put deliberately in drinking water of scheduled castes.
That's right, a horrific story that one really shows the kind of caste issues that continue to exist in India, and it just doesn't end there. Uma Sudhir gets us all the details.
Pudukkottai Collector Kavita Ramu and Police Chief Vandita Pandey at Tamil Nadu's Irayur village, where a huge quantity of human waste was found in a water tank that was supplying drinking water to a scheduled caste community. Villagers say in recent days children took ill and the tank was checked after doctors advised to check the drinking water source.
ஒரு வாரம் குடிச்சிருக்காங்க. குழந்தைகளுக்கு உடல்ல சரியில்லாம போனதால மருத்துவமனை போயிட்டு பார்க்கும்போது தான் அவங்க மருத்துவ டாக்டர் சொல்லிருக்காங்க தண்ணி எல்லாம் பிரிச்சு சொன்ன பிறகு தான் இந்த உண்மை அவங்களுக்கு தெரிய வருது.
Who carried out the terrible act is not clear yet. Locals complained that caste discrimination runs deep here. For 3 generations, they had never been allowed in the village temple, and the village tea shop still has a 2-glass system for scheduled caste and others. The collector and SP took the deprived community to the village temple, where a woman belonging to the so-called higher caste said she was possessed by the deity, abused and declared that the lower caste people should not be allowed in. The police have booked a case against the woman and the tea shop owner too.
இந்த கோவிலுக்குள்ள போகல கலெக்டர் இன்னைக்கு அந்த ஒரு நிறைவேறினது ரொம்ப சந்தோஷமா தான் இருக்கு. இனிமேலும் நாங்க எங்களுக்கு இந்த உரிமை கிடைக்கணும். இன்னைக்கு தான் போய் இந்த சாமி எப்படி இருக்குன்னு பார்த்து சந்தோஷமா இருக்கு. இந்த சாமி கும்பிட்டதுல இது மாதிரி எப்போதும் இது மாதிரி நீடிச்சு இருந்துச்சுன்னா ஓகே. இன்னைக்கு மட்டும் இருந்துட்டு இதோட இந்த மேட்டர் க்ளோஸ் ஆயிடுச்சுன்னா ரொம்ப கஷ்டம் எங்களுக்கு.
In the land of Periyar, who inspired temple entry protests almost 100 years ago, that scheduled castes are not allowed inside temples in DMK-ruled Tamil Nadu is an irony. Even more shocking and criminal is that huge amounts of feces seem to have been deliberately put in drinking water meant for the community. With MP Ramesh Pillai in Pudukkottai, Uma Sudhir, NDTV.
Now on to the Tunisha Sharma death case, and Shizan Khan's police custody has now been extended till the 30th of December.
This even as Tunisha's mother has now revealed that her daughter suffered a panic attack a week before she hanged herself.
The sources had earlier pointed out that Shizan Khan had told the police that Tunisha had made an attempt in the past to harm herself and that he had alerted her family about it.
Actor Shizan Khan, who is accused of abetting his ex-girlfriend and co-actor Tunisha Sharma's suicide, will stay in custody for 2 more days. A court has extended his custody until Friday, the 30th of December.
कोर्ट ने कंसेंट दिया कि 2 दिन का पीसीआर दिया जाए, हमें कोई ऑब्जेक्शन नहीं। क्या डिलीट किया गया है? क्या डिलीट किया है? पुलिस उसी पे इन्वेस्टिगेशन कर रही है। फेयर जो है इन्वेस्टिगेशन में सहकारी करो, क्योंकि जो चीजें बाहर आ रही है तो सीजान ने इनकार कर दिया, बोला हमने सर ऐसा कोई चीज जो है नहीं कहा है, ये कहाँ से रिपोर्ट आ रही है हमें पता। वो ऑलरेडी लव जिहाद का मामला ऑलरेडी पुलिस ने क्लियर कर दिया है।
Shizan was arrested by the police on the complaint of Tunisha's mother. Shizan had broken up with Tunisha 15 days before she died, and reports suggest the breakup was prompted by the gruesome murder of Shraddha Walkar. Shizan was reportedly disturbed by the communal atmosphere in the country. Tunisha's family has alleged that Khan cheated on Tunisha, made several false promises to her, and had several affairs. And Tunisha's mother revealed today that her daughter had been hospitalized for a panic attack a week before her death, with doctors warning that her mental condition wasn't good.
पुलिस को उसकी चैट्स मिली हैं जो कि डिलीट हो गई हैं, तो पुलिस उनको रिकवर करेगी। मैं ये चाहता हूँ कि जिसने किया है, जिसकी वजह से उस तुनिशा की जान गई है, उसको सजा मिलनी चाहिए।
However, Shizan's sisters refuted the claim and have said that Shizan was cooperating with the police probe. Tunisha's last rites were carried out on Tuesday. Her death has elicited an outpouring of messages from her grieving friends and co-stars and has prompted a public debate on mental health ever since she was found hanging on the sets of a TV show on Saturday. With Sunil Singh in Mumbai, this is Nayantara Singh for NDTV.
In other news, 4 terrorists were killed in what is being called a chance encounter on the outskirts of Jammu on Wednesday.
That's right. Large quantities of arms and ammunition, including 7 AK-47 rifles, 1 US-made M4 rifle and 3 pistols were also recovered after the encounter. However, the driver of the truck on which they were riding managed to escape. Here's a report.
This truck transporting heavily armed terrorists was on its way to Srinagar from Jammu when it was intercepted by the police in Sidra near Jammu at 7 a.m. Heavy gunfire followed. Within an hour, all the 4 terrorists had been eliminated. The truck driver managed to escape.
Today morning we spotted a suspicious movement of a truck which was unusual at this point of time moving on this road. This was followed and at Sidra Naka it was stopped, after which the truck was searched. As soon as the search started, the terrorists hiding inside opened fire at us, which was retaliated.
The terrorists are believed to have infiltrated through the international border in Jammu. They were heavily armed. 7 AK rifles, 1 M4 rifle and 3 pistols were recovered besides other arms and ammunition. This is the second such encounter in last 2 years in Jammu when a huge cache of arms and ammunition has been recovered from a truck transporting terrorists. In November 2020, 4 terrorists were killed and 11 AK rifles were recovered from a truck at Nagrota in Jammu. The truck was burnt in the gunfire in that encounter too. The truck driver had managed to flee. Today's encounter comes hours before Home Minister Amit Shah's meeting to review security situation in Jammu and Kashmir.
For the last few years, Jammu appears to have become a major infiltration route to push militants and arms into the valley. Today's encounter only explains the extent of threat, despite a massive security structure deployed on the ground. In Srinagar, Nazir Masoodi for NDTV.
In the news coming in, a social media influencer was found hanging in a house in Chhattisgarh, according to the police, suspecting this to be a case of suicide.
That's right, a very unfortunate case there now from Chhattisgarh. Leena Nagvanshi, a 23-year-old college student, allegedly hanged herself on the terrace of her house in Raigad district when her mother had stepped out. Back after half an hour, she found her daughter hanging on the terrace and brought her body down, believing she was alive.
Leena was the youngest daughter of the family. She was active on TikTok and had over 10,000 followers on Instagram.
In other news, Rahul Gandhi's Bharat Jodo Yatra experienced a security breach, according to K.C. Venugopal, the General Secretary of the AICC.
In a letter to the Home Minister Amit Shah, he claimed that the Z+ protection provided to Rahul Gandhi was not properly maintained by the Delhi police and the security has allegedly been breached numerous times, according to the AICC. In a letter to the Home Minister, Venugopal said that on the 24th of December, when the Bharat Jodo Yatra entered Delhi, the Delhi police absolutely failed to manage the crowds and maintain a distance around Rahul Gandhi. He continued by saying that while the Delhi police stood by as a silent spectator, it was the Congress of workers and the Bharat Jodo Yatris that needed to come around Rahul Gandhi in order to provide protection.
रोकने का षड्यंत्र है, भारत जोड़ो यात्रा को बदनाम करने का षड्यंत्र है और जोड़ने के इस यज्ञ को कौन रोकना चाहेगा? जाहिर सी बात है, वो रोकना चाहेगा जो तोड़ना चाहता है भारत को। तो सबके चेहरे सबके सामने आ रहे हैं, कौन जोड़ना चाह रहा है और वो जोड़ने के लिए क्या-क्या कर रहा है। 108 दिन लगातार चल रहे हैं और तोड़ने वाले अपनी पुलिस के माध्यम से, अपनी दोस्ताना मीडिया के माध्यम से, अलग-अलग माध्यम से इस यात्रा में खलल डालने की कोशिश की जा रही है.
And a church in Karnataka's Mysuru was vandalized by unknown people on Tuesday, as per the police.
The miscreants also damaged the statue of baby Jesus at the church. The St. Mary's Church in Mysuru has been vandalized 2 days after Christmas, and several police teams were formed to trace the accused who are on the run. NDTV's Shrija reports.
Just 2 days after Christmas, miscreants broke into St. Mary's Church in Karnataka's Mysuru district. On the floor, a statue of baby Jesus, broken into pieces, triggered suspicion that this could be a communal attack. But the police say it appears to be a case of theft, as donation money has gone missing. Mysuru Police Superintendent Seema Latkar told NDTV, "We are scouting for clues from the CCTV footage recorded by nearby cameras. Prima facie looks like it is a theft, as they have made away with money and also with one donation box that was placed outside the church." The priest was away when the incident took place. Tension prevailed in the Piriyapatna taluk of Mysuru district, as the accused had not yet been identified or arrested. The Christian community in Karnataka are apprehensive as some churches and Christian missionaries have been attacked by some political outfits and also religious outfits as well. And also this is over alleged religious post-conversion. In Bengaluru, with Kumar, Shrija for NDTV.
Let's get your update on the pollution situation. The Commission for Air Quality Management has now issued directions to ban the use of coal in industrial, domestic and other miscellaneous applications in the entire Delhi NCR region, and that's going to come into effect from the 1st of January, Gargi.
Well, hopefully this will have an impact on the pollution that we see in Delhi. However, the use of low sulfur coal in thermal power plants has been exempted from this ban. Around 1.7 million tons of coal is used annually in industrial applications in NCR, with about 1.4 million tons being consumed in 6 major industrial districts alone.
The CAQM then constituted an expert group to examine and deliberate upon all such suggestions and proposals, Gargi.
In its report, the expert group strongly recommended phasing out heavily polluting fossil fuels like coal and mandating cleaner fuels to the extent possible. So hopefully this step will go a long way in ensuring a better air quality in the National Capital Region. In other news, the Union Minister for Road Transport and Highways, Nitin Gadkari, will be inaugurating Goa's new Zuari Bridge today.
That bridge is an important link between North and South Goa, and the project has been under construction for a long time now, Gargi. Nitin Gadkari also shared a video of the new bridge on Twitter, calling it an architectural marvel. And microblogging platform Twitter was down for thousands of users on Wednesday, according to sources, Gargi.
That's right. An outage tracking website called downdetector.com has claimed that Twitter was down. Over 10,000 users reported issues with accessing the social media website in the US. Some users also complained that their Twitter notifications were not working. So Twitter outage there for thousands. With that, time for us to slip into a short break.
On the other side, we'll get you a check on the weather situation, with temperatures now finally starting to normalize in the northern part of the country. That and a whole lot more on the other side. Welcome back. Temperatures are now finally starting to feel normal as far as the northern part of the country is concerned, especially over the plains. Now, that slight respite that we're getting from the bitter cold that we've seen over the last 3 to 4 days, this respite is temporary and will last only till New Year's Eve. Temperatures are again slightly going to be down by the 1st of January. The temperature in the national capital, which had gone down to about 5 degrees Celsius about 3 days ago, will be back to 5 degrees around New Year's Eve. Here is a report.
About 100 flights were disrupted because of thick fog in the capital today. But there is some relief from the biting cold in Delhi, Chandigarh and neighbouring states after plunging temperatures for the last 3 days to below normal. However, this relief will be short-lived, with the minimum temperature rising to about 8 degrees tomorrow night, but then falling from New Year's Eve onwards.
There will be not much difficulty in tonight, tomorrow and on 30th. But we expect that fresh spell of dense fog will start maybe 31st night or 31st morning. So that we are monitoring, because fog prediction is very challenging. But press spell up cold from 31st night or first night, and face spell up dense fog from 31st morning or 31st night.
For thousands of homeless in the capital, the suffering continues.
प्लास्टिक की शीट आपने ओढ़ रखी है
यार वो से हो जाए ये सर्दी जाए
गीला हो जाता है
गीला हो जाए।
1 महीना हो गया हमको, 1 तारीख को आए थे, 1 महीना कल परसों हो जाएगा। बाहर ही पड़ रहा है, न कहीं पढ़ने का सौदा है न कुछ नहीं है।
रैन बसेरा भी बना है क्या?
देते उसमें नहीं जाने देते, कोई नहीं। उसमें पड़े हैं आदमी, हम लोग को नहीं दे जाने देते।
जगह नहीं है?
नहीं, अंदर जगह नहीं है, बाहर ही सो रहे।
तो बाहर कैसे आप लोगों को इतनी ठंड में?
पन्नी डालते हैं ऊपर, पन्नी डाल के सोते हैं। सुबह गीली हो जाते कपड़े तो पन्नी डाल के सोते हैं। परेशानी हो रही, कोई खाने पीने की भी नहीं टाइम से मिलता है, कभी आता कभी नहीं मिलता है।
Donations of blankets have picked up pace for those shivering on the streets. Details of how to donate can be accessed on ndtv.com.
कम्बल मिल गए तो ठंडी कट जाएगी, ऐसे कहाँ गुजारा होता भी। हम लोगों को गुजारा तो हो जाए ठंडी में। कम्बल मिल गए आज हम लोगों को, इतने दिन से नहीं मिलना हम लोगों को।
And for all the travellers headed to Srinagar to bring in the new year, first snowfall of the season is expected tomorrow because of a western disturbance. NDTV Bureau Report.
All right, some breaking news coming in, and the Sensex is down by 250 points, the Nifty down as well.
The rupee nearly flat at 82.84 per dollar, even as risk sentiment soars. We have our colleague Sakshi Bajaj joining us. Sakshi, take us through the details.
That's right. Markets have opened lower. The Sensex now down over 300 points and the Nifty down by 83 points. Of course, all sectors are in the red, barring a marginal green for the pharma sector. Now, remember, experts have been telling NDTV that they do expect volatility to continue. But however, they remain long-term positive on markets. Of course, year to date, Indian markets have been outperforming. But at the moment today, of course, seems a day of weakness, and volatility, experts believe, will continue in the near term.
And Sakshi, is this to do with, the COVID situation and fears around China, alarm in India, alarm around the world as well?
That's right. So, of course, cases in China rising has led to concerns of the COVID fears resurfacing. So that, of course, remains a concern. The other concerns that remain are, of course, of the Fed's hawkish stance, really. And, there are three really concerns that, experts tell us in the long run. Now, of course, the one is the COVID concerns, which remain uncertain at the moment, at least how this is going to play out for the world. The second is Fed's hawkish stance, which is, of course, something that experts are already worrying about. And the third really is about how inflation and growth trajectories are going to play out. Now, remember, experts are already saying that Europe, US are witnessing a slowdown, which many believe may turn into a recession. And if that happens, then what really happens to the Indian markets? Will global headwinds create worrisome situations in the first half of 2023 or not? That really is what the spotlight will be on in the long run. But at the moment, of course, COVID fears playing out.
Right. Thank you so much, Gargi. Sakshi joining us on the phone line there. Sensex down 250 points on opening.
In other news now, 8 people, and one of them a woman, died in a near-stampede. This took place in the Nellore district of Andhra Pradesh and was during a roadshow by the state's former Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu.
That's right, Gargi. Mr. Naidu, who is now the leader of the opposition in the state assembly, was expected to address a meeting in Kandukur town. The rush started as Mr. Naidu's convoy was passing the area in the evening, and the huge crowd which had gathered pressed forward for a glimpse of the leader. Many fell in an open drainage canal as a cement railing broke, and some others were injured as well.
Huge tragedy unfolding in Kandukur, Nellore district of Andhra Pradesh, even as the roadshow and public meeting of Mr. Chandrababu Naidu was about to begin late yesterday evening. The roadshow was in fact just proceeding towards the venue where atop a vehicle Chandrababu Naidu was meant to address, when the big numbers that had gathered there, in fact a near stampede situation in fact arose, after which at least 8 to 10 people fell into an open ditch which was quite deep, and there was also water inside. At least 8 people were killed killed and 10 others were injured who were shifted to hospital. Chandrababu Naidu has been holding these kind of public meetings across Andhra Pradesh, and yesterday he was in fact supposed to have at least 3 public meetings in Nellore itself, and he was in fact about to address the public meeting from atop his vehicle, and it was just a short distance away when this happened. He decided to stop a few minutes to find out what really had happened, and when he found out such a big tragedy had happened, he cancelled the political meeting and just made an announcement about paying 10 lakh rupees as compensation to the families of those who had lost their lives, that the injured, their treatment would be paid for by the TDP party, and also that the education of the children of those who became victims of this tragedy would be paid for by the NTR Memorial Trust. There is also, of course, 2 minutes silence observed in memory of those who had lost their lives there. Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu, in fact, was in Delhi yesterday, and he had met the Prime Minister in the evening, and he had met Union Ministers Bhupendra Yadav, and was to meet Union Home Minister Amit Shah at night. All these meetings that Chandrababu Naidu has been holding, they have been called as Idem Karma Manaki, targeting the Jagannath Reddy government. Elections are due in Andhra Pradesh in 2024 state as elections, as well as, of course, the general elections. And it was a day when Chandrababu Naidu's son Lokesh also announced that he's going to start a Padyatra, a 4,000-kilometer Padyatra, a 4,000-kilometer Padyatra over 400 days that would be timed for running up or going ahead to the elections in 2024. Campaign managers of the YSRCP are saying, even though the police officers who I spoke to said that yes, permissions had been given for the public meeting and for the roadshow as well, but campaign managers of the YSRCP are saying that the Telugu Desam had chosen very narrow lanes in order to try and show big numbers in that area, because of course all these meetings are put out on social media, and the big crowds that gather would be an indication of the kind of popularity that the Telugu Desam enjoys, and therefore they are saying that the Telugu Desam had tried to pack in big numbers in that area in order to try and show that big numbers are coming to the rally. The second point that they are making is that there were a lot of what they are calling as illegal flexis that were put up, and they say that also contributed to the tragedy, because people didn't realize that behind the flexis is an open drain, and they got pushed behind, and that's when they were toppled over and fell into the ditch, leading to this very huge tragedy.
A shocking case of caste horror from a village in Tamil Nadu, where the district authorities who went in to investigate human feces but deliberately in drinking water, and that too of the scheduled caste.
That's right. They are going to investigate whether it indeed was put in there deliberately, and found the horrors just don't end with this. Uma Sudhir reports.
Pudukkottai Collector Kavita Ramu and Police Chief Vandita Pandey at Tamil Nadu's Irayur village, where a huge quantity of human waste was found in a water tank that was supplying drinking water to a scheduled caste community. Villagers say in recent days children took ill, and the tank was checked after doctors advised to check the drinking water source.
தண்ணியே மஞ்சள் கலரில் வந்திருக்கு. இது தெரியாத மக்கள் ஒரு வாரம் குடிச்சிருக்காங்க. குழந்தைகளுக்கு உடல்நிலை சரியில்லாமல் போனதால மருத்துவமனை போயிட்டு பார்க்கும்போது தான் அவங்க மருத்துவ டாக்டர் சொல்லியிருக்காங்க, தண்ணி தான் பிரச்சனை சொன்ன பிறகு தான் இந்த உண்மை அவங்களுக்கு தெரிய வருது.
Who carried out the terrible act is not clear yet. Locals complained that caste discrimination runs deep here. For 3 generations, they had never been allowed in the village temple, and the village tea shop still has a 2-glass system for scheduled caste and others. The collector and SP took the deprived community to the village temple, where a woman belonging to the so-called higher caste said she was possessed by the deity, abused, and declared that the lower caste people should not be allowed in. The police have booked a case against the woman and the tea shop owner too.
இந்த கோவிலுக்குள்ள போகல. கலெக்டர் இன்னைக்கு அந்த நிறைவேறினது ரொம்ப சந்தோஷமா தான் இருக்கு. இனிமேலும் நாங்க எங்களுக்கு இந்த உரிமை கிடைக்கணும். இன்னைக்கு தான் போய் இந்த சாமி எப்படி இருக்குன்ற பார்த்து சந்தோஷமா இருக்கு. இந்த சாமி கும்பிட்டதுல இது மாதிரி எப்போதும் இது மாதிரி நீடிச்சு இருந்துச்சுன்னா ஓகே. இன்னைக்கு மட்டும் இருந்துட்டு இதோட இந்த மேட்டர் க்ளோஸ் ஆயிடுச்சுன்னா ரொம்ப கஷ்டம் எங்களுக்கு.
In the land of Periyar, who inspired temple entry protests almost 100 years ago, that scheduled castes are not allowed inside temples in DMK-ruled Tamil Nadu is an irony. Even more shocking and criminal is that huge amounts of feces seem to have been deliberately put in drinking water meant for the community.
With MP Ramesh Pillai in Pudukottai, Uma Sudhir, NDTV.